Hello and welcome. This is your GM in the Great Barrier, and we are back with a limited run Star Trek Adventures game, Their Fatal Greeting. Yes, it's been a little while since this last one, and for the I can't imagine however many fans of this one, since this comes together, you may notice where we've got a nice full house tonight. Um, one of whom, whose nickname I need to fix, that's in the usual role. It's everybody knows, of course, this game usually runs with the crew of our Broken Sword friends. So, in the usual role of Captain Tabak is our own Balak Lestrange, Ashan, playing Mannix. We have, in the usual engineering, usually from his engineering role, one Calico playing Dennis Mockman. And
Alright,
yes.
we're getting into the boys. There we go.
Yeah. We also have among our usual cast, Ray, taking our usual Woe, now playing one Verse Jenkins tonight. Joe, who usually plays Mr. Isaac Korg, playing the Vulcan Ensign Takara. Cheesy, who usually plays Traven. Lex, the cook aboard the Yon, playing the playing an Ensign Ikkyo crew. Actually, wait. I think we just decided Ikkyo was the shorthanded Andorian name that she usually goes by. So the full one is a challenge on pronunciation. So playing
as are all full Andorian names.
Yes. So he'll be playing Ensign Ikkyo, and then guest starring once again tonight. From the crew of the Aegis, our own Colonel Sharp, one panda playing the role of I believe it was it Chief Greystoke, or how many pips did she still have from last time? I forget.
She just ripped off two of them, I think.
Yep. So, Eris Greystoke, a quote unquote lieutenant. So, how is everybody feeling for tonight's game?
Very logical.
I would hope so.
All I just have to say is
What else
I'm
hurts?
back.
Doing well. Sorry for my tardiness.
Quite all right. Well, let us get into the game tonight. So, when last we left off, the USS Ambassador, the prototype vessel in the Ambassador class, has been hijacked by a rogue admiral. His apparent intentions to take the Ambassador to Klingon space and reignite war. For he believes that that is the ultimate fate of Starfleet and the Klingons, that they should only wind up confronting each other. As it is, at the current situation, there are few obstacles to stop him, save for a malfunctioning computer and, there happen to be people on board. Specifically, you started off with three very low-ranking officers. One Mannix Noda, the Edosian, that is to say, three-legged and three-armed Lieutenant Junior grade, and a competent enough, I believe, some engineering specialization, but also I think he was there to run security. Would that be about right, Sean?
I apologize. I was reading something. Could you reiterate the question?
Is more just to double check. Mannix was more security oriented, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Then, in addition, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say with varying degrees of success because of his almost inability to understand someone not of his species.
Indeed, indeed. In addition to that, we had one Dennis Mockman, an ensign, a human ensign who he's not ready for any of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you can put that one in the quotation books there. That's our Dennis. Uh, and then, of course, Theles Rav, an Andorian officer, falling a little more in the science department and engineering, who had some specialization with the secondary systems. Upon being hijacked, you steadily embarked on a mission to try and stop the ship. You were locked out of all the critical systems, but the rather buggy isolinear system that this ship is experimenting with has given you some opportunity to exploit the secondary systems and try to gain further access. You started off in a holodeck, a slightly novel technology for the grade of holodeck that it is, where you dealt with a terrible recreation of the struggle between Kirk and the Gorn captain. And it was inaccurate, chiefly because Theles wrote it. It was about that time that you discovered that something else is going on here. Very specifically, the advent of a spatial anomaly that seems to be impacting space and time in novel ways. It works in part to your advantage because over the course of the adventure, crew have been appearing that are not on your current staff. These include one Verse Jenkins, a chief with experience in engineering, Ensign Ikkyo, someone who is more on a command track, and one Eris Greystoke, who showed up the last time to help you fight through the Zero-G arena, and Ensign Takara as well. All of you have found that you're coming from slightly different versions of the Ambassador, although the story is broadly the same, where you are dealing with some insane admiral. You haven't... the story differs in slight ways for each of you, so that's essentially where that is. It works in part to your disadvantage because, for one thing, crew have been disappearing. For another, the ship appears to be going faster, and thus shrinking down the time that you have to work with in order to save yourselves and the Federation from whatever threat your respective admiral is going to pose. It is at that point that we follow where the adventure had just most recently finished. In particular, you had, in order to gain the most recent set of access codes, had been fighting your way through a Zero-G arena against some drones, and that is where we are going to pick up. In the Zero-G room, where Dennis and Takara have managed to wedge themselves into the interface that allowed the doors to open. Ikkyo, who momentarily had to leave her outer uniform shirt, you've still got the tank top, but basically wrapped around a drone in order to confuse it, you have managed to make it into the control room, or basically the opposing team's room, and disengage the drone program. So the Zero-G is still functioning, thus allowing you to float and not fall for those that are in the main chamber. Ikkyo, you are in a room with gravity, so that's nice. Less nice that you bumped your nose and it's bleeding a little bit right now. But all threats are presently disarmed. You've also found that you believe that you are momentarily just with the three of you because it seems that Jenkins and Jenkins, Mannix, and Thales are still missing, so far as you know, and Greystoke, as near as you can tell, might have blown up in when she tried to hijack the drone that she had been tangling with. So, with the victory conditions met, the Takara and Dennis, neither of you need to hold your place anymore, so you can traverse freely. So, questions?
I obviously am missing. I do not remember what the last thing was I was doing. It's been that long since I was in this particular group.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We will get to you in a moment.
Aye.
But yeah, among yourselves, first Dennis, Dennis, Takara, Ikio. What would the three of you like to do right now?
So we've made our way to the exit hatch, basically, right?
Yeah, or at least the alcove that that has the opposing team controls. It was, I think it's its own alcove. Like, there's not an easy access.
I guess search for an easy access. I guess
Well,
that would probably be.
That is to say, like, there's not another point of entry aside from the hatch, which is now open and free for you to travel through. So you can join Ikio in the alcove.
Ah, okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Dennis, are you following as well?
Yes.
All right. So
All these games are nice, but I'd much rather get back to a place of logic and enjoy more Vulcan games.
Yeah. Right.
I would also like for the games to stop. My nose can only take so much.
okay. As you are saying that, there's a loud slam as one smoking human hand comes like catches on the edge of the doorway.
Yeah. She just, like a freaking unstoppable killing machine, she just reaches up, slams her hand onto the edge of the portal, and then drags herself up, bloodied, bruised, charcoaled. Showed them. So, everyone else, with all their toes and fingers, and other fingers.
I still have the 5 that matter.
My nose is a little hurt, but you need to sit down.
Fine. It was fun. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Is anybody a doctor?
Computer, restart match.
Begin round 2.
What are you doing?
The computer beeps in error as as the voice code or like the voice comes back. Critical error has occurred. Drone system non-functional. Please consult your nearest maintenance technician.
Poo. All right. She just slowly hobbles herself up to her feet.
Yep.
All right. We got to the other side to go deeper in and take care of an admiral. Let's go.
Yep. Before you guys move from the alcove, does anybody, just to make sure that people see some helpful things, anybody want to give me an insight check?
Sure.
You may use a discipline of your choosing.
Awesome.
Okay, that is 1 success from Ikkyo, 2 successes from Dennis, 1 from Takara,
Any of mine fit, Zach, for focuses?
let me see here. I'm going into the sheet and checking right now.
Yep.
Humanoid anatomy at least kind of works.
Cool.
Insofar as you know what's needed. I'd say that second to last one might also do it, just because it's kind of working on the inverse. Really, a few of them you could apply that logic. Alright. For some reason, the ambassador rolled insight plus command. That's interesting.
Yeah.
The ship is starting to think for itself.
Whoops. Yeah. Anyway, that is Eris.
Okay. So I will say, first off, Ikkyo, despite your nosebleed, and like the pain you're dealing with there, you do manage to tap your way through the commands, and you find that the sequence that everyone needed to queue, well, actually, I'm going to change this up a little bit, because you and Eris are both approaching this more from a command perspective, kind of understanding what could be in support of a team right now and assessing your situation. In addition to the computer system, which I will leave for Mockman to interact with, you and Eris would notice the presence of a few helpful bits of gear, a little bit of a slight bit of emergency rations, a light medical kit intended for sports injuries, and otherwise just a few bits of like maybe a pad or tricord or something of the sort. So you have something that one of you at least can use to treat your respective injuries. For Dennis's part, you, with the codes that you already have, specifically the last time you had found that from your own success on the holodeck, you had gained access to codes that would allow you to override any localized environmental issues. So attempts to knock you out with, like, anesthetizine, or attempts to disengage the gravity, put you in a stasis field, something like that. You had the advantage with the codes that you had in order to prevent you basically from being affected by any localized use of that. Greystoke, from the reality that she came from, happened to have codes that allowed you to exploit the turbolifts and gain access there. So by building up with these levels of encryption, you now have the opportunity to gain an additional advantage, one that will allow you access to all but the most critical of systems. So you can now, you may not be able to, say, enter the commands to specifically, like, like automatically get a turbo lift or transport into the bridge or engineering, but you can get access to a weapons locker now.
We can get a real gun.
Yes. Takara, for your part, you would probably realize that as well, and you would know that even on this version of the Ambassador, you know where the nearest weapons locker is, and that there is a like there's basically you can plot out an efficient way back up to the security deck and be able to arm yourselves effectively.
Is there any way? Okay, Takara's a little nervous about. We just exited the. It's not a holodeck, right? Or was it a holodeck?
It was a zero gravity arena, so it was a general large cube-like room, but it had like the little spheres suspended in place.
Okay.
On either end of it, it had like the circular hatches, as is depicted on the screen.
And this is era with holodecks on ships, right? Roughly.
Yes. From what you
When-
gather, at least the version of the crew that is indigenous to this reality had actually gone through a holodeck first.
When the I can't remember the character's name. Gray something. When he mentions
Eris?
yeah, when
Eris?
he
The woman.
yeah, apologies.
Anyways.
When he mentions computer restart program, that something illogical kind of tipped into Kara's head. And is there something I can roll or do to try to determine if we are still in a holodeck program, or basically I'm kind of thinking this is something kind of like the Moriarty program,
The
program within a program kind of thing. I want to try to debunk that feeling.
the player is doing a self check to determine whether they are whether the reality as they know it is indeed objective reality. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay, well, first and foremost, I am going to I'm going to call this a reason plus, let's see, that's going to be a reason plus science, I think, no, you're going for paranoia, so reason plus security, and I'm going to retroactively apply Panda's difficulty increase, so, I'm extending this up to a 5.
All right, and can I use my composure focus for this one?
That's going to be helpful when you're questioning reality.
All right, and how much momentum do we have? 3.
Yes.
I would like. It's a building scale, so it's 1 buys you 1,
And 2
and it's
buys you
2.
a 4th D20.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for 4 dice.
Okay.
All right. I guess get rid of mine. Do. Screw that one.
Darn it.
I've made everybody paranoid now.
Yep. Takara, there is a certain illogic to the nature of the circumstances that you are in. And I suppose you can't expressly rule out the possibility. However, you know that is probably an unhelpful line of thinking, if only because even if reality were, well, let me say this. It's not entirely impossible that the holodeck sequence would be, that it couldn't be that. But there are... Oh no. The strange intersection of reality is such... like the multiple dimensions and the different crews, is as plausible and a possibility as the security issue. But there is room for you to doubt, but not really. It's not something you can know objectively.
Okay.
With all of that, I am going to take this opportunity to enact the complication that was purchased and have another sort of flashing of lights and change in color gradient around you as all of you feel the ship rock. Every time this has happened, people have disappeared and reappeared from the crew, but perhaps more urgently, it has also had effects on how the ship has been going. And for an establishing shot, we see the Ambassador racing through space and through time as it travels at speeds beyond complete comprehension.
They've gone to plaid.
Almost. But yes, you feel this all in the deck plates, and before you can fully get your bearings, you hear the sudden screaming of a tumbling figure rolling right through the hatch, through the 0G, and into a pile just in front of all of you.
Eris effortlessly just sidesteps.
All right. Any of you care to check on your newest compatriot?
I do indeed. Yes, Sereno.
Well, this is a new one for you, Eris. Insofar as you haven't had an Adosian with you on the on any of the wandering bits before. He seems to be in the same style of uniform as those, mostly those native to this reality. Takara also wears something very close to that, those old monster maroons, as it were.
What do we have here?
Manix
Says a still sizzling, lightly barbecued Eris.
Manix, you're no longer in the cargo bay, and it looks as though at least some of the people that you were adventuring with earlier are present now.
That man was an idiot.
Oh, I like you already.
Ah! He
Hello.
puts one hand to his mouth, the one that's in the middle of his chest, and puts the other two on the top of his head, and the ones on top of his head just start patting himself down. Well, it looks like okay, that's there too. It looks like all of my limbs are still in place.
Mm-hmm.
I hate those things. I never knew they could be that voracious.
I'd be surprised too.
Small balls of fur. The idiot mutated them. They ate the crew. He was an idiot.
Oh yeah. They're quite voracious. Why don't you give them a few snacks? Then they're pretty calm.
Crew was the snack.
Yeah.
That was the most. Wait, who the hell are you?
I just sort of give a touch on his shoulder. Oh no, never mind. The wrong person. She just says, "I am Eris Greystoke, Lieutenant."
Oh, okay. Greystoke. That name sounds familiar. I believe it was a character in a book.
Oh no, I heard that book, but no, you probably heard it for a vast military family. You know, all security and command did right up there.
No,
It's been
it
a
was a
while.
book. It was a book about a human living with monkeys. And Eris. Eris, ancient Greek goddess of chaos and destruction.
Nothing like me.
Interesting. Take a look. I mean, what kind of uniform is this person wearing? Is it normal?
You possibly blue. It's a bit burned and charcoaled right now.
No, but I'm just like, is it the same as, my uniform?
It's whatever the equivalent for it's early TNG, I do believe, right?
I think that is what we went with.
Yeah, early TNG.
So closer to Ikkio's uniform.
Yeah, the maroon, but without the undershirt.
No. They have like the early Next Generation era thing. So think closer.
Oh,
to
the unitards.
Yes.
The unitards. Ah. All right. You're looking for stripes on sleeves or pips on collars.
Yep, definitely lieutenant.
Lieutenant, full lieutenant, not JG.
It's certainly at least full lieutenant.
Well, then you outrank me now.
Good. Sit down here. Let me examine you for a little bit.
What? Whoa.
No.
Where is that? I'm looking around to see.
Doctor's orders. Shut your mouth.
I'm looking around to see who else is here. Like, is there anybody from my crew?
You at least recognize Dennis, the nerd assigned to your crew.
Good.
Yep.
Is the fellow who smashed the console still here?
Looks over at the rest of the team.
I don't know.
Oh.
You were the other. You were the new Andorian. You were the new Andorian who showed up in a turbo lift. I remember you.
Yes.
You were there. Oh gosh. Where did you come from? Pointing at the one who's apparently poking and prodding at me.
Yeah, I am scanning him and all that jazz. Doing my own.
Is your scanner still covered in blood, or is that to tell us that, or whatever?
That was the pad, and that's elsewhere. Do I still have that? I thought I handed it over.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
But yeah, I'm poking and prodding and trying to understand this lovely individual. Zach, can I medical examine him?
You can attempt a medical examination if you so wish. I'd call that reasoned medicine, or rather, are you using a tricorder? That'd be the question.
Yeah, I'm grabbing from the medikit.
Okay, reason plus medicine. There is a spend to reduce the difficulty. I am only going to set it to 1 right now, and we'll save that spend from our good friends on the Aegis.
Humanoid anatomy?
Edosians are not quite analogous, but they are...
To humanoids?
Yeah, okay. But they're close enough. They have 3 arms and 3 legs.
No then?
The third one is in the middle of the chest. The third leg. Arm is in the middle of the chest.
No or yes?
They still have bilateral symmetry.
Oh, I see your question. I'd say it's still close enough for the purpose of your focus.
One focus. Or one momentum.
1 point of momentum. Just to check, who would like to be our designated momentum officer?
I'll do so. Why not?
Very good. All right. So dealing out a point of momentum. All right. So, quick analysis would show you that the Edosian is showing some mild signs of physiological stress, as if he has likely been running from something or undergoing extreme physical exertion. There are also signs that one of his ankles is still sprained or rolled. There is something that you know would treat that in the medical kit.
Well, hold still, and certainly I can repair you for a little bit. It's going to hurt. Actually, it's going to hurt a lot.
Want me to help?
Would you like to help?
Yeah, I have medical training.
Cool. Hold him down.
Swen!
Hold
What?
him, please.
I've always
What do you mean,
one.
hold me?
Hold him down.
All right.
Oh, no. The hold me down.
Ready?
Somebody's
One,
getting... No,
two.
someone's getting kicked. Someone's getting kicked if they're trying to
One,
restrain
two.
me.
Just pull. I just,
Oh,
help out with a splint. Really hard.
I'm
Firm.
Yep.
Firm but measured.
I guess daring plus medicine with
Yeah, but like I said, if they're trying to hold me down, somebody's getting kicked.
Fair enough. Mannix, let's make this contested with your daring and security.
Just the 2 dice.
Yeah.
Does my focus of melee combat apply?
Yes. So, Greystoke or Mockman, which of you wants to take the lead?
I will take the lead.
Alright.
What does field medicine do for talent wise?
I think that that allows you to ignore the increase of difficulty if you don't have proper medical equipment.
Okay. I have a lot of focuses that work with this, Zach.
Yes, you do.
And daring, medicine, and boop.
Okay, so
boop. Damn.
all right. Well, no help from Dennis, but the initiative does go to the, or rather, the success goes to the person taking the initiative when it comes to a tie. So Greystoke, with your 2 successes, it is sufficient to pull it, basically affect the rather painful fix to the leg. Mannix, you definitely feel it, and you try to kick, but also your leg is extremely sore, and it falls just a little shy, everything's a bit tender. But between that, and I'm sure Dennis tries a hypo, it doesn't do anything to calm your nerves, thus not falling into the check, but an anti-inflammatory and pain reliever does actually mean that you can walk properly.
There you go. See, wasn't so bad, was it? She says with a smile.
Don't patronize me.
I'm sorry. All right. Well,
It would have been much better had you just told me what you were doing before you started. Sir.
well, it's all taken care of, so there's no need to worry. Pat, pat, pat. Well, let's get going.
You can hear his teeth grinding. Pat.
Yep.
She stands up, offers a hand.
He does not take it. He stands back up.
All right.
So, we're a good ways into the ship. We have access to everything, right?
Where are we? What have I missed here before I had to go deal with the angry tribbles? He burps and a little bit of fur comes flying out of his mouth.
Sports.
Sports.
Mm-hmm.
You've been playing games and not trying to stop the insane person trying to control this ship.
Well, on the way.
Uh-huh. All right. Wonderful.
Perhaps one of the youngins can explain. Ikea,
Youngins.
Takara,
Please, someone
Dennis.
tell me what you are all doing now.
Go into the armory to get some weapons to start the fight back. Seems like a logical thing to do.
We finally managed to gain access to the armory.
At least to a weapon locker.
Works for me. Where's the nearest weapon locker?
I start heading.
He takes a look around real quick, tries to find the little signages that tell you where you are in the ship, and the nearest one should be that way.
Yes, and
Let's go.
Takar is already on his way down that way.
As we're walking, I'm using the med kit to fix my burns and bruises and all that jazz.
Yep. I will say freely that all of your anybody who had injuries or stress from the last time will have the opportunity to get things treated. As all of you start making your way out, you see, having given up on the... Well, no, we'll still say climbing along the way. I think we at least get a flash of Chief Jenkins moving along one of the walls. Which is to say, Ray, if you are around, then we can... Wait.
Am I along the walls? Is this the same place I disappeared, or am I just crawling along the ceiling of a corridor?
So I think that you have... The way things worked out, I'm going to say that you had disappeared shortly onto your initial crawl and had found yourself in changed circumstances, probably in like a Jeffries tube, one of the crawl space type things, and that you've been trying to navigate through those, and now you've appeared seemingly back in the same room, albeit in a different position.
Well, it's about time you guys showed back up. I was getting bored.
What are you doing here?
I don't know, the same thing you're doing here, trying to figure out how to work this thing. It's the evil guy in control. He looks at Eros. I see you still didn't die. That's unfortunate.
I think blessed.
That was fairly rude.
Yeah, he saunters over to Mannix. Yeah, I'll explain you a thing or two on why I'm being rude. And he takes Mannix aside and kind of explains how freaking weird she is and how she's had blood on a data pad and how she was pretending to be captain and all that fun stuff before he called her out on her stuff.
Yeah.
Ah. Interesting.
Well,
Yeah, so maybe don't trust that one too much.
I barely trust you.
Yeah, but you do a little bit. Don't trust that one at all.
I seem to be helping out the team quite well, she says.
Mm-hmm. Well, we now have access to the weapons locker. So open it up, and what's inside?
Okay, so sometime later, moving through the ship, I'm at least showing that you guys made it out through the out of the place. So, tell you what, we'll go back to the establishing shot. Sorry, just one moment here. Okay. Just. Alright, so as the ship continues at its most ludicrous warp velocity, you manage to traverse the ship going up a few decks. If memory serves, I want to say that the ambassador had been over on, or rather, the Zero-G Arena had been, I want to say, in like deck 10? And that you had traversed some ways upwards. I will admit I'm having difficulty locating my notes, so consider that overridden if based on whatever previous info was here from the last session. But I am certain that the security locker was closer to deck 6, and that by the time you make it up to the security office, slightly tired as you are from rushing to your respective positions, you manage to input the necessary codes using your scanners in order to the tricorders where you have them stored, and the security locker gives way. Inside, you will find a sufficient complement of Type 1 or Type 2 phasers for all of you.
I take two Type 2s.
Well, looks like we got a badass.
I also take.
Looks like what, sir?
Can we take enough away so that Eris doesn't get one? It's like everyone grab 2 except for Eris.
Well, I can use 2.
I could in theory. You can use 3. You have 3 arms.
No, I can only use 2. I get an extra action with the arm, which means I get to shoot twice.
Oh, that's cool.
Pretty OP.
Yeah. So I'm going to say that even if all of you were... Well, I suppose that if all of you were deciding to dual wield, then technically there might not... Well, actually, no, wait, because it's 1 for each. You could certainly deprive Eris of the Type 2s, but I believe that there would still be at least a couple of Type 1 phasers remaining, so she gets the ones that are easier to hide.
Great.
Yeah, you comfortable about that? Depriving?
So we each get 2, right?
That you do.
You get Type 1.
Yep.
I got a place to put it.
Yeah. So your group in the weapons locker each gets the opportunity to gain a Type 1 and Type 2 phaser. You may elect to take certain ones if it is to your preference. So if you just want a Type 1, you may do that. Alternatively, you can take a Type 2 if you so wish.
I'm going to take 2 Type 1s and 1 Type 2.
Now, you guys are going to make me do math here because we have 6 phasers for all of you, 6 of each type of phaser for all of you. So Mannix takes 2.
And I already took 2 Type 2s.
Yep, Mannix wants 2. Jenkins wants 2. That means that you're taking the rest of the Type 2 phasers and a Type 1.
No. I'm taking 2 Type 1s, and then I would try to grab 1 Type 2.
All right.
Well, seeing as I'm the one who opened the door to the locker, I'm the one handing out the guns.
Yep. Ikeo, Takara
I want to stealthily wait in line and then spin around and just get back in line so I get another one.
Horrid.
Oh god. Roll for fake mustache.
I beg your pardon?
Alright, daring and presence and...
Alright, hold it just a moment.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody gets to pick once before somebody picks twice. That's at least the GM's rule if it isn't Mannix's. So, Takara and Ikeo, what are you guys looking at, phaser-wise?
I'll grab a Type 2.
Alright.
Yeah, Type 2 for me as well.
Okay, so somebody with the dual Type 2s is going to need to decide whether needs of the many outweigh the... Or... No, one of you that's hogging...
They can absolutely have both of my Type 2s, so long as Eris gets the most minimal amount of weapons possible. I don't care.
Alright.
Harsh.
Eris gets handed 1 Type 1. Who wants Type 2s? There's 4 left.
Okay.
after I've taken my 2. There you go. Have a type 2. That's 3 of them. There's 3 left.
I'll take one.
Here you go.
I'll take a type 1.
There you go.
I'll also take type 1. I didn't get one.
I gave you a type 1.
No,
Eris?
I didn't get one.
Yes, you did.
I
There's
you
5
see one
left.
on me.
I don't know what orifice into which you have stuck it, but I gave you one.
Take my type 1 and put it in my arm.
I beg your pardon?
I pop a panel and I put it in my arm.
That!
What? What?
Why do you have a hole in your arm?
Because it's not a real arm.
I don't know, but Dennis just got way more attractive.
Not a real arm.
Apparently it's fully functional.
Yes. One of my legs is also fake.
Interesting. All right, well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 1 more type 2 and 5 type 1s. 4 type 1s, because I handed you one and I handed you one. I think we're fairly well armed.
I could use a type 1.
I gave you one.
You didn't give me anything.
I did.
You didn't give me
You
anything.
have a top 1.
Do I?
About to have a top 9.
She like pats herself, looks around. I don't see one.
Not my problem. I closed the
I guess
weapons
I'll-
locker
I guess I'll jury rig one then.
and lock it.
Okay, depriving your fellow officers of phasers before you step into a fight with an insane
Yep.
admiral. Very good.
Gave her a phaser.
She doesn't have it.
Well, there's not another one here who looks just like you.
You know what? As lieutenant, I order you give me a type 1.
You know what? I don't think you're a lieutenant. So,
I am lieutenant, actually. Pat,
well, you have the pips. I don't believe you. Moving along.
He goes off the word of the strange chief that he had never met before.
Yeah, it's fine.
In fairness, I am very good looking. It's hard to not trust me.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Well, Mannix doesn't get it. Your looks mean nothing to Mannix. You have too few limbs.
You say that. You say that. But I can make it a third if I need to.
God damn it. All right. So,
I didn't say it this time. It's not my fault.
I was talking about augmentation. What are you guys talking about?
Right.
What
Gotcha.
are you guys thinking?
Moving along.
So, which way are we going?
Well, we have to get to the bridge. Have you
Right.
determined a different route aside from going directly there?
I think the youngins had an idea. Something.
I shouldn't have eaten so many of those tribbles.
spoiled your appetite.
Looks over to Dennis and Ikio and Takara. You've been at this more than I have.
Have we?
We
Have
know
we?
the best layout of the ship.
Why do we? No, we have to go stop this crazy admiral. I'm getting so tired of what is it with admirals in Starfleet? I do not understand this trope. Anyway, have you determined a different route to the bridge? Do we have access to the turbo lifts? Do we have to go through more Jeffries tubes that were made for bipeds?
Turbolifts. Turbolifts are A-okay.
Can we get to the bridge?
Possibly. What deck are we on right now, Zach?
6.
My sister's home. As dogs are going crazy.
Just so everybody is clear on, since we don't necessarily have a full ship schematic to display. From where you are on the ship, you can easily turbo lift to the, I'd say, up to deck 2, and from there it would probably be some Jeffrey's tube climbing because the critical systems are sealed off. You would have to probably undergo a different, you might be able to gain the advantage of getting you something that you could use to exploit for more direct access.
Well, there would probably
with-
from the bridge somewhere there would probably be stairs somewhere from deck 1 to get down to decks
You mean a ladder?
lower.
There's no stairs.
No, there's stairs. At least, well, there
Weird.
were on Constitution class ships.
Yeah, I'm pulling best knowledge as we've been displayed for the design ethos of the era. They're only going with turbo lifts or what's its face, turbo lifts and Jeffrey's tubes. That's what it is.
All right. Well, let's go into the turbo lift, go on deck 2, and then make our way to the bridge through Jefferson. Safest bet.
Usually. Can we all fit in the turbo lift?
We could probably fit. I'm pretty thin.
I am not.
Well, then we even it out.
So
Looks
there's
fun.
like 6 of us. And I have a much wider cross-sectional area than you silly bipeds.
Fine. How about the 5 of you go first? I will take the second lift.
Oh, no way. I don't
Well,
trust you enough to leave you alone.
I've been alone here for quite a while. I know how to make my way, and I can protect myself just fine. Thank you for being so considerate. Countess.
Bye-bye. All right, everybody else, let's go.
I'm staying with the weirdo.
Wow.
All right. Did you?
I know if your sleight of hand's as good as mine, you may have gotten that weapons locker key.
That's not a key.
All right.
Whatever. You said it locked.
Yeah, and I scrambled it.
I don't trust this one, so I'll stay behind.
Well, hopefully.
Fine. Everybody else, into the turbo lift.
Okay. Ikio, actually, no. You were just going to. You were at least going to hang back on your way out, or like near the tail end here. So we'll let you guys move out. Let's say actually, Greystoke, if you like, you can take the lead on the way out. Ikio following close behind. Then, I guess trying to recall the rest of the order. Yeah, we won't set to anything just in particular, but we'll allow everybody to shuffle out.
Everybody is keeping an eye on me, so I can't do anything too sly. How's Ikio looking? Because I haven't heard from Cheesy at all. Cheesy, you there?
I'm here.
So how's Ikio looking?
Pretty confident.
Yes.
So, little one, young one, you're like, what, ensign?
Correct.
Yeah. You want to learn a little trick that might help you out in like these sort of whole mutiny sort of things?
I walk a little bit closer as I hold out the handle of the Type 2 and tap you in the back. I've learned a few tricks of my own, and I hand the Type 2 over.
Yep. I take the Type 2, and I pull out the Type 1 that I had somewhere, Zach. and crack it open. And Zach, I'm going to configure for the Type 1 to emit a signal that says that any phaser pointed at me is immediately set to training mode and does not fire. It fires, quote, quote, but doesn't actually fire.
It's an interesting advantage you're looking to create. I think that
Within a certain range. Because it's still a Type 1. It's not like a big old beacon or anything like that, but, within limited range. Just so certain, burly engineer chiefs don't get any bad ideas.
fair enough. I will tell you what, you are creating you had to have created the advantage somewhat surreptitiously, so I'm going to say this would normally be daring plus engineering with the difficulty of 3. However, there is one spend of Quatlus that I have not yet evaluated here from our good friend on the Aegis. I believe Craig had left us a decrease the difficulty that we can use here. So I will apply that in order to help our Andorian friend.
I also have rocks and replicators as well.
Oh. Well, that, I think, actually would allow you to bypass the task altogether. So that will allow Ikkyo a one-time, at least, shielding from a lethal hit.
Yep, and then one for myself.
All right.
Freaking, yeah.
So, let's see.
But can I make mine sturdier? Be more than one round of shots?
For rocks to replicators, I think that the advantage would only necessarily apply the one time. I'm already allowing you to.
Can I make a roll to make it more sturdier?
That would be the daring plus engineering roll.
Okay, so daring plus engineering. You'll get a complication, not complication. You get a
point of threat.
Point of threat for bold engineering.
Very good.
And let's go. Boop. Did it work? I think it worked. Yes,
don't.
Two successes. Nope, my connection died.
I don't see the roll yet in the roll 20.
Yeah, my connection, No, did it work? Did I? I died. All right, give me 1 second while I restart my computer because my connection's having problems.
Okay, I will allow you to do that. I will allow you to
when I come back. When I come back, I'll just make rolling. You can just say yes or no when typing or something like that.
Yep. So you exchange the phasers. You get the Type 1. Eris taps her nose and then disappears in a flash of light. The deck plating rattles around you once again.
Huh.
I would have laughed if I had just seen Panda disappeared from the fucking server getting kicked.
That was after, of course, the turbo lift left.
Yes.
That was an interesting bit of alliteration.
Indeed. So, let's see. First group up the turbo lift. I presume Mannix was in the first batch. Who else?
As far as I know, it was me and everybody else except the two who were just having their bit staying behind.
Okay. Just to check on that, Jenkins, did you also want to stay back and keep the eye on what's her face, Eris, or did you just?
Yeah, I stayed back.
Okay, so you do see her getting uncomfortably close with the ensign, but before you can evaluate what has gone wrong, she disappears.
Difficult. You hear him just stomp his little foot. And he walks over to, is it Kikyo?
Ikkyo.
Say it again, babe.
Ikkyo.
Kikyo.
Yeah.
I need to turn your mic up. Hang on. Okay. He walks over to her and is like, "What did you do?"
I didn't do anything. She just disappeared.
What were you talking about before she disappeared?
Tricks and things that I need to learn to be a captain.
To be a captain from the not captain?
She has a good few pointers.
I hope so, considering she faked being a captain for a while. I only knows how many times she's done this.
I kind of feel for her. I mean, if I had the chance to be a captain, I'd take it in a heartbeat.
He steps away from Ikyo a little bit at that.
So, with the slight suspicion hanging in the air for that moment, the turbo lift comes back down, and the two of you are free to move back up, which I presume you will take.
Going up? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. While that's playing out, let us regroup with our other players who are presently up on deck 2. They will come back out. Mannix, this is... oh, excuse me. This is the first moment you've at least had alone with Dennis in a moment. Takara is also there, and for his part, from what you've observed or heard, Dennis appears, or rather, Takara seems to be above board, or at the very least, reliably logical. So, as in those moments of time where you step out of the turbo lift and send that back down, let's catch up with the three of you. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Oh. Any words you would share amongst the three of you?
You guys are pretty silent today.
I'm just trying to. Takara just trying to go through the logic of all this situation.
Fair.
What's Dennis up to?
He is, he's just sort of, fiddling with the settings of the phaser.
Copy that. And let's see.
It's putting on intense 1 right there. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Kill mode.
Oh, jeez. That is partly for Dennis's lethal instincts, but also partly for Eris's extreme success there. That is 6 on the board there with the point of threat that he gave me. So that means you get 4 points of momentum back.
I want to spend 2 to have I want the opportunity to have set up a setting on the phaser to also disable or scramble computers if need be. I have a chance to, anyways.
I will allow a slight adjustment to like a lower EM band system that would destabilize basically EPS flow.
And yeah, for my own secondary phaser, I've set that emitter that's more sturdier than the one I gave Ikyo.
Yep. So let's see. Well, with no words exchanged amongst the group immediately on screen as you ponder the logic of the situation, the turbo lift opens, and without either of your two noticing it, once again, Greystoke reappears besides Jenkins and Ikkyo, yeah, as seamlessly as if she had never left.
Well, so who's hungry? I'm kind of hungry myself.
Would you just die already? He walks away.
I care about my crew. Just wondering if they're hungry.
We can eat once the ship's secure.
Can't go to a deathly battle with an admiral on an empty stomach.
Might have to in this case. We don't have the time.
Unfortunate.
As you say that, there's a slight additional rumble in the deck plates, one slightly more subtle. Anyone feeling confident enough with engineering and insight, please give me a roll at difficulty 2, please.
Control or insight, sorry. Insight, engineering.
Zach, can you roll for me, please?
I will roll for you. Oh, Mannix. Mannix. Oh no.
Did you have a complication too? Because that shouldn't
was
happen.
Oh, yeah, I didn't spend to increase your range, so those dual 19s do not count. Should not count, anyway.
Wow. Okay, Eris. Sure.
Alright, and let me roll for Jenkins. Insight. Engineering. Just reviewing those focuses.
I thought you had raised the complication on that.
I apologize. I had not. Okay. All right. So that is one success from Eris, one success from Jenkins, nothing from Mannix. But Takara will score 3 successes. And the way it starts out is after that rumble, it's that moment of like, for Eris and Jenkins, it's like, did you feel that sort of thing? That didn't feel like the usual bumpy warp thing we're dealing with.
Jenkins turns to Eris and says, "What did you do now?"
I've been here the whole time.
No, you weren't. You disappeared. I saw you.
You're really gonna blame me on temporal anomalies? Come on.
No, I blame you when you're temporal anomaly. Whatever you do in between that time.
And how long was that to do anything? Besides, I don't
You
think
know
it's
as
me.
well as I do that. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't think it's me. I think, if anything, probably she kind of thinks for a moment. The subtle shift probably means that we're getting out of warp, perhaps.
Logic would dictate that that is correct.
Jenkins does the 2 fingers pointed at his eye and then pointed at her. Like, I'm watching you.
They're just a feline smile. Well, guess we don't have very much time then. Let's go up the Jeffries tubes.
Alright.
I will go last, as I do not wish to potentially fall on any of you. These things are not meant for tripeds.
Okay.
I start making my way up.
Yep.
As quick as I can.
All right.
Ikkyo, go next.
Okay. I go next.
Just kind of gesturing for all the youngins to go first.
Yeah. So, if you accept that, then Ikkyo, Dennis, you two would at least follow Takara. Jenkins, I suspect, will dispute, in part because Jenkins is an older, more seasoned chief.
Go on, Jenkins. Chief. Up you go.
Wait.
Would the
How
lot
old
of
is
you
he?
please just get up the damned ladder?
Yeah.
Go on, Jenkins.
I just don't want her to be second to last.
Oh, that's sweet of you. But look at these baby cheeks. Go on. Nope. Disappeared. Okay. Bowen, up I go.
Yep. Oh. Yeah. Jenkins disappears for a moment, and seeing the argument as moot, you go up behind.
I give a half-hearted shrug and just go on up.
Yep. Mere moments after that, Jenkins reappears after his retort was spoken to empty space. Actually, for a moment, Jenkins found themselves in vacuum and then reappeared, inexplicably unharmed.
But fucking freezing. The man is cold.
Yeah.
Well, it would have taken more than a split second to get that cold.
You don't know space. Have you been in space recently?
No, but I had to figure out how to make rules for being in vacuum. So I did a bunch of research.
It's a good thing Jenkins was in the one part of space where there's air. Don't fact check me on that.
Well, if there can be coffee in a nebula, apparently in a warp bubble there can be air.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's the most useless type of cloaking device. It was a ship where all the surfaces are cloaked. Anyway.
But yeah, so now it's Eris goes up next, but I guess Jenkins and then Mannix.
Yep.
So, climbing up through the turbo shaft, or not the turbo shaft, the Jeffries tubes, you, as careful as you can, manage to approach the ladders, and each step you try to execute very carefully. At this stage, you have some combination of codes which you think might at least make access possible, though not a certain factor by any means. So your next move is a bit of a gambit here, to try and hope that you can successfully use the the codes that you have to help bypass the final lockout here. So at the top level, I'm going to say like right on the verge of entering basically the alcove or like the component of the Jeffries tubes that would connect the bridge. Takara, you are kind of at the top of that ladder with the the sets of codes also uploaded onto your tricorder, so or downloaded, I should say, would make more sense. So if you want to attempt to breach this, I think that let's call this control plus security roll could do it, if you'd be amenable to that.
Yep.
I'm going to say that difficulty 3 would probably be appropriate for the roll.
Okay, I'm going to spend 1 momentum for 3 dice. Because we're still in the Jeffries tube, right?
Yes.
So I would like to use composure for this one. I think that would be a good focus for that to keep kind of... Because I'm hanging there trying to do this, correct?
that would be applicable.
Can I assist by throwing some I guess shouting, but more of just calling to Takara on some back doors that I know when it comes to these ships or these systems.
I would be open if somebody has some knowledge of, let's say, security protocols, computer intrusion methods, if a focus you think would apply there.
I do have computers and I do have jury rigging.
Okay.
Can I see what they're trying to do?
I think that you're all close enough to where you would know what's going on as well, Mannix.
Okay, because, one of my focuses is computer intrusion methods and security protocols and computer programming.
Oh, there
Those are
you
three
go.
of my foci.
Well, Mannix
Right.
might also might make more sense for you to assist here then.
Yeah.
Okay. So that would be control plus security with your assist there, Mannix.
Control going there, and that's just one die for the assist and
Correct.
the focus attached to it. Let's see if this actually works this time. You look at that.
All right. That is
Straight middle of the road die roll.
That is one success from Mannix. So, Joe, if you can score 2 successes, then you would clear through the. You would be able to clear through, and you roll 3 successes there, which allows you to input these security codes properly with Mannix's input. You succeed in getting the in bypassing some of the bugs in the secondary systems and causing an error message to conveniently interfere with some of the security lockouts. With that, you're able to brute force your way through the remainder of the security overrides, and the door to the Jeffries tube opens. You find yourself pushing aside a panel. You find yourself in a sort of conference room to the aft of this. There are 2 doors on either side, both of which would lead you into the bridge. I'm going to say, for those of you familiar with it, this is very familiar to what the Enterprise D basically has.
How very illogical. That was the same combination I have on my luggage. Strange. All right, I turn around and help anybody else that needs it up the Jeffries tube or out of the Jeffries tube and make sure that they get out safely.
Does anyone still have a tricorder?
Of course.
Make sure that they are still on the bridge. You should be able to detect them no problem from this range.
No, I was going to help other people get out of the Jeffries tube, but I guess I could do that too. Okay, I'll go to the bridge door, staying far enough back that it doesn't activate the door mechanism, and try to scan.
Mr. GM?
Zach.
Apologies there. My system was working a little slowly here. That would be Reason plus Science, difficulty 1.
Reason, science. There you go.
All right. With 2 successes, that should net you another point of momentum. I should say you also netted 1 momentum from the previous task because of Mannix's assist there.
Yep, I added it.
Very good. You can confirm, you can confirm that there is an Andorian life sign on the bridge, but your sensors seem a little confused. It seems almost convinced that there's also a human life sign and a Vulcan life sign. It seems to be fluctuating a little bit, and you don't fully understand why.
I relay that to the to the rest of the crew.
Admiral Andorian.
I mean, my admiral was human. I'm sure there's multiple admirals right here, all convinced they're going to help out.
Wonderful.
Or maybe they're all the same person.
Well,
A super admiral.
we are
as
all
one
going
would
to go
say.
in with weapons on heavy stun.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Anybody on that bridge but us goes down.
Absolutely.
Are we in the same book at least?
I mean,
Yeah.
we have to fully unlock the ship, and that would require the admiral's help, unless, of course, we want to make it a little more difficult.
Right. I go back and change the settings on my face.
Outstanding.
Question:
What's up?
When Jenkins, Ikeo, and when Jenkins, Ikeo, and Harris were down at the bottom while the others were shit. Sorry.
I didn't go in the locker room. I stayed exactly where I was.
Or
We are losing you a little bit, Ray, so
Yeah,
I noticed you messing with your phaser. Damn it, son of a bitch. I'm gonna type it. Hold on.
No, I think I heard that.
Yeah.
Let's see. You might have had the opportunity to notice at least, well, I think that because Ikeo and Greystoke were as close together as they were, it would have been very difficult to discern exactly what happened with the phaser there.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Then we've passed a little far along at this point.
This is true. All right.
I am
Thank
sorry.
you. You're fine.
Yep. So, let's see. I will apologize here, just in case anybody is catching barking dog in the background. Because I have one that sounds like it's in the room immediately below, and it is, it very much craves attention.
We're all dealing with barking dogs, so it's all right.
Yes.
I can get my 12-year-old to bark like a dog to make it, fit right in.
I appreciate the effort, but I think it will not be necessary. All right. So, all 6 of you now have phasers ready, set back from lethal settings, and ready to engage the Admiral.
Or admirals.
Yep. In your breaching position.
Yeah, we're all stacked up at the door, ready to go.
Yep. As that happens, let me just... Sorry, just checking one little thing here. Okay. Quick test just to see whether this will be, whether this is just me or whether the rest of you can hear this. Can you guys hear this?
No.
No.
Nope.
Well, I can't hear it either, so clearly something is not working there.
Also, Zach, I sent you a message.
Very good. Okay.
Yep.
One other thing to check on with that. Nope. All right. I'm actually also going to check one more thing, because this might be that the tab was muted on my end. Let's see. Okay, so that just needs to be added to this game is what's going on. Alright. So... Alright, so as you stand ready at your... ready, stacked, and prepared to break through, the lighting dims and begins to set to a reddish battle hue as klaxon sounds. You guys moving?
Push
Yep.
push now.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Didn't realize we were at that point. Which door are we supposed to be going through? This one?
It
Yeah.
just,
We
it's
should split
it's
up.
scenery. So yes, this one.
Yeah,
And in that
I'm-
case,
I
I'll be over.
momentarily had you
Oh.
guys in Theater of the Mind, so
Oh, sorry.
basically
Yeah.
now you guys enter the bridge, where sure enough at the helm you see an older Andorian male who, upon seeing you enter in, rises, going for a sidearm, but
And I shoot him twice.
yep. You take the initiative, being the
The aggressors.
yes. So go ahead and give me a control plus security to take a shot with your phaser.
Okie dokie. Come on. 2 dice. Focus goes in place. It's still a complication. So, we have... Okay, I get an extra shot, so do I just roll twice? Because I have 2 arms, or because I have the 3 arms, I get an extra action.
Was that okay? So is it an extra minor action?
Shooting
yeah.
twice.
Draw,
is-
draw item, interact, or aim minor actions.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So
all I get to do then.
I-
But I will still shoot him, but I will take the minor action of aiming before I shoot him. How's that sound?
That sounds like a great idea. So,
And aiming does what for me again?
with
Yeah,
the-
if you can reroll an extra single d20 made to a attack. Before
Okay,
the
so I get a
start.
reroll.
Yeah, of one
Okay.
of single d20.
all right.
I'm
So-
not even going to bother with that reroll at this point.
Yep. So you give your d20s a roll and lash out with 3 successes on that phaser strike. That will give you 1 point of momentum, and it will indeed connect with the Admiral. So go ahead and roll damage on your Type 2 phaser.
I do not have that in my equipment list.
Well, this is why we keep straight what everybody's getting phaser-wise. Okay, let me add that for you real quick.
My apologies.
Just saying, everybody could have had 1 of each phaser type. Or 1 type 2, 1 type 1.
No, the only thing I have under weapons is an unarmed strike.
Well, let us fix that here. So, phaser type 2. That is 3 challenge dice. With the charge quality. And you may now roll on that phaser.
Aye. Blam. Ah! Jesus Christmas.
Ooh.
Your
You can spend a momentum to reroll those damage.
Yeah, well, I have a momentum, so yeah, I'm gonna re-roll that
Yep.
because of that floating momentum that I just got.
Yep.
So let's try that again, shall we? That's better.
Okay, so let's see. The way that I'm going to evaluate this is that you try to take a first shot, one slightly more panicked with your center arm, which you aim just a little high and wind up singeing a bit of his shoulder. However, your other shot manages to land true and catch him on the side as one of your arms steadies it out. I will note you re-rolled your entire pool there, so I do feel that I have to.
Oh, was that not what I was supposed to do?
You can re-roll the zeros, basically. So I will say that is
Apologies.
4 points of stress, which will that will at least hurt him a fair bit, but it will not be enough for an injury. To which he says, "You will not stop my effort for justice." And he will raise his own phaser
And
take
we will spend another momentum to keep the initiative, so somebody else on my side can also shoot.
2 momentum, I do believe.
2 momentum.
Correct. Who would like to act next?
I can take a shot.
Dennis, it is.
Somebody. Somebody.
All right.
Somebody stop him.
Dennis, you pop out the phaser from your hidden compartment and take aim. That'll be, or well, I won't say that you take aim necessarily. That's your own minor action to declare. But you may attempt a control plus security task. Difficulty of 2.
Security. And aiming is reroll 1.
Yes.
All right.
Or, well, aiming allows you to reroll damage. In order to affect an actual reroll of your D20s, that would be determination spending.
There was like a talent. I was trying to remember. With
So aiming does reroll 1 d20 on your attack roll.
Oh, right. I'm
Yeah.
mistaken. Yeah. In that case, yes, the aim would apply.
But
Yeah, the reroll did not help there. So, Dennis, you pop out the phaser and you take a shot a little more exuberantly than you intended. It winds up also going just a little wide, hitting the view screen on the opposite end of the room, but harmlessly diffusing. Because, it's not like that's just a window to outer space. Who would put that on the top of your command center?
Yeah, really.
And that was at the phase 2. Yeah, type 2.
Okay, well.
Didn't pop out the type 1.
Oh, my mistake. Then, yeah, you pulled the type 2. It was not, yeah. Still not enough to break the bridge, and you also missed anything else. So, all good there. With that, the Admiral will take his shot now, trying to hit you, Mannix.
Can we spend our last 2 momentum to hold the initiative again?
I'm afraid it only you can't do that more than 2 times consecutively. So
you're no fun anymore.
You wound me, sir. But let's see if I can wound you back. All right. So
Who are you aiming at?
still taking aim at Mannix.
Okay.
So going for the phaser strike there. That is 2 successes, so that will be enough for him to deal deal damage with a Type 2 phaser. As I did not declare it and had no intention to do so, this is not a lethal strike. So, Mannix, you take 5 points of stress, which will be enough to is enough to inflict a non-lethal injury. I'm going to say that he hits the more accurate of the 2 arms and causes that some injury. You also feel a bit dazed from the stun. But that will... You can still ignore the injury if you like, either by spending determination or the last 2 points of momentum. I leave that up to you. And I guess to the group for the pool.
I'll spend my determination. I still have 8 more points of stress, so...
Very good. What value would you be tapping for this? Oh, and
I'm not sure if it should be I will do my duty, or stop, or I will make you stop. I believe it will be stop, or I will make you stop.
Very good. I'm also going to take a moment to acknowledge and thank Omega Couch for spending the Quatloos to donate some threat to the GM.
He betrayed me.
Traitors.
Your threat is appreciated. So, Admiral Jakir, or rather, I think that if one were to take the short name of Jakir, the Vasoasan, probably just call him Admiral San, as in sanity that he lacks. So he will manage to stun you there, but the initiative will shift back to you guys.
I'd like to go if that's okay.
All right.
Sure. Ikio is actually going to close the distance with the Admiral.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to try and kick the gun out of his hand. All
Okay.
cinematic-like.
Okay, so that'll be a move, I think. You know, I'll allow this, and I'll allow a daring plus security roll. I am going to raise your difficulty slightly, or... well, rather... So, this is usually a contested roll, and what's going on here is that you have, like, you have to cover basically the opposite end of the bridge, which usually I'd say to move into, like, that close range would take a separate task of its own. But since you're going for, like, a stylized jump kick, I'm willing to enable that. What I might say is that since it's a little more difficult to increase, or just flat out increase the difficulty when the Admiral is, like, contesting this roll, I'm going to say that, tell you what, I can either give you a flat difficulty 3 on this roll, or you may contest, but the Admiral will receive an additional D20 since you are engaging him in this, like, in a way that would be telegraphed enough for him to respond. I leave the choice to you.
Contested.
All right. So the Admiral will see that you are closing. His phaser's not fully recharged, so he will prepare himself for a melee. Go ahead and roll daring plus security against his.
Before I roll, what are all the things I can do with determination again?
You may either use it for an automatic critical success, which you declare before your roll, or after the roll. You can use it to you can use it to re-roll your entire dice pool, essentially. So however many dice you roll, you may re-roll as much of that as you wish. You also do have 2 other ways you can use your determination. One of those, as Sean did a few moments ago, can allow you to ignore an injury that you might receive. And then the final way would be the make it so spin, basically allowing you to create some sort of narrative advantage.
I'm gonna use a determination to get that auto-critical success at the beginning.
Okay, what value would you be tapping in order to do this?
Men have abused me too long. Never again.
Powerful stuff. You gain 2 successes automatically, so you may roll your d20s. There is momentum in the pool, so you could purchase an additional d20 if you wish.
Hand-to-hand focus apply.
That applies. Oh, well, both of you only managed to roll 1 success on the die, but you have 2 additional d20, or 2 additional successes rather from your determination spend, thus allowing you to cross the bridge and deliver your kick in time to. You said you were going to disarm in this situation?
Yes, I just wanted to kick the gun away.
Okay, so you will succeed. Your kick precisely modulated to smack at his hand and send the phaser across the room, now putting you in direct melee range, where you are both in a position to basically a sparring position. I'm going to adjust token sizes here very slightly. I'd say between the phaser shot and the kick, that Admiral's cut down to size a little bit. Alright. But Ikkyo, actually, wait, no, I don't think the Admiral can actually act again because he's already done one thing for his initiative order. So
unless there's other admirals around.
It's a good thing you happen to bring that up, and I spend the 2 threat necessary to create the advantage. With that kick, he just screams, and as he does, the Admiral's outline begins to just tremble a bit as the silhouettes of various figures show up on different parts of the bridge. In particular, I'm going to go through a random number generator. Oh boy, this one's going to be fun. Mannix.
For whom? Yes.
First off, you're coming in a little loud there, Sean.
I haven't done anything different. Okay.
I'll play with settings here. As this scream occurs, one of the figures gains coherence, and you see a wizened old Vulcan face before yours. There is, in spite of the hard and the emotional training and barricades to it, there is a pain on that face, some semblance of loss, and perhaps even rage that seethes below. One just barely contained. One that shows that logic has become uncertain where a fallen friend is concerned. Jenkins, if I remember correctly, you knew something of this Admiral because he was the one who had taken over your ambassador. Oop. Didn't mean to cause him to disappear. Fix that.
Okay.
So,
In relation to this ambassador, where is Jenkins in this part?
So, to give you an idea of the layout here, you've basically come in from the back of the bridge, and the Admiral, at least this reality's Admiral, was near the front, at the helm, basically. The furthest console away from you. Ikkyo has rushed up there to engage in melee. The rest of you are still near the back. To your left, if you're facing the view screen, the Admiral is on the... Admiral Spock has appeared on the other side, and he is beginning to close the distance with Mannix and Machman. I think that he is actually going to move over to you, Mannix, and go in for a... he is going to contest with Daring plus Science. So this is against you, Sean.
Right.
Can I roll to intercept?
Technically, well, I guess if you guys wanted to spend the momentum to keep the initiative, you could do so here.
No. Let's see what Spock does. I don't care that much.
All right. Daring plus security to contest Mannix.
So I'm rolling that as well. Daring and security.
Yes.
Right?
That you are indeed. Oh dear, and maybe it's his rage, the lack of emotional control seething beneath this, or maybe it is just the that you managed to get your reflexes back up, find an errant stimulant from the medkit from earlier, but you managed to outmaneuver the old Vulcan, catching what appears to be a nerve pinch, and you may roll for unarmed strike.
Okay. Well, unarmed strike gets vicious
Yep.
because of me having a mean right hook. All right. Wacko, dude. There you go.
All right, that is 7 points of stress. That is enough to you not only catch the arm that tries to administer a nerve pinch, but you could break it if you so chose, or some other injury. What would you prefer to do?
It would be hilarious if I did a reverse nerve pinch, pulled the Uno reverse card and just nerve pinched him, but I don't have that ability. I am telepathic, so I don't know how that would work. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to snap the arm.
Okay. I can say that you, as you bring one arm down on his, on the exposed arm that he has, you simultaneously, you could try to use some telepathy to just send, raw hostility his way, frustration. You've had enough on this dumb ship and this whole thing and the insanity, and that just something to thoroughly confuse him. So Spock will be knocked aside. He goes down pretty quick.
Thud.
Yep.
No, I'm not going to do anything telepathic. He has the ability, but he's not exactly proficient in it. And in fact, he's not even really all that mad. He's at any body. He's more frustrated with the entire situation.
Yep. So the order passes back to you now. The group, that would be Jenkins, Takara, or Eris, who can still act.
Takara and Dennis could go. They've apparently Jenkins is BRB.
Dennis
ahead,
actually, Dennis I think actually took a shot with this Type 2 phaser. He when you guys kept the initiative.
Well, and Takara, if you like.
Okay. I'll take a shot with my phaser.
All right, firing at Admiral San.
Yep.
All right, that'll be a control plus security difficulty 2. I'm going to rule that Ikkyo has oriented herself to where she is close enough to be in melee, but wisely out of the firing lane, as it were.
Okay.
And with 3 successes, that is enough to hit the Admiral, so you also gain a point of momentum. Give me a roll with your phaser, please. And that is 5, 6, 7 points of stress. That is enough for an injury. And as you injure this second Admiral, he begins to light up. And indeed Spock does too. And the other silhouettes likewise seem to do the same. One by one, they vanish until it is just Admiral San.
Hmm.
And then, no, must, revenge, must, strike, must. And then he illuminates further before outright disappearing before you. And then, with a bright flash of light, a similar light to what you have been exposed to previously, a figure emerges. One whose structure, whose exact nature you can hardly perceive, but you can see from the light emanating around them just an overbearing sort of presence as this anomalous figure appears, twitching with every word, arms spread out and seemingly moving in with little logical fashion. Must strike, must revenge, must seek, must conflict, engage, will defeat. With the entry of this new opponent, the first of their qualities is Threatening 3, which under that special
Which
rule,
does?
that gives me 3 points of threat.
Ooh.
And the turn order, I will say, because the appearance sort of basically took up a turn effectively. There is a new foe in the battleground. The order I will let go back to all of you here.
Had we finished with everybody on our side? Or
No,
are
we
we,
have
or does this
Takara and
basically
we have-
count as we are starting
Well,
a new one?
We have Takara, we have Eris, and Jenkins.
Takara just actually went.
Oh, okay.
So it is either
I guess I can fire.
All
Yeah.
right. All right, Jenkins, you may take an attempt with your phasers with your phaser using control plus security. Do you need me to roll, or are you in a position to do so now?
I'm still not in a position to do so. My computer's dead.
Allow me to fire off that phaser, so that will be control plus security. Regrettably, seduction does not apply in this case.
Oh, come on.
I mean, if it did, then
Wink.
there's an interesting value that would apply, but nope. Not even. I'll just leave those values alone for now. In any case,
What the hell are the values? I don't even remember.
I'll DM you with them.
Okay.
Let's see. While I'm working that out, let's see. Just trying to. Okay, that is 2 successes, so your phaser strike will connect. And as it does, the figure phases. Well, wait, I have to roll 1 challenge die just to see here. The figure phases about, disappearing for a moment before changing positions on the bridge. Oriented incorrectly, that is to say, it appears to be effectively standing on the wall as if that were its center of gravity. And its hand still basically gesturing in a curious manner. So it is moved out of melee reach with you. Yeah. So with that, the turn order, I think, unless you want to spend the momentum to keep the initiative, the turn order is going to the new mysterious figure.
Let's
Or
go with
the
the mysterious figure. I'm curious of what he does.
Okay. So,
Yeah, just as long as he doesn't try doing it to me again.
I mean, you are closer.
Don't remind him.
how about everybody?
Everybody?
How
Sure.
about everybody what?
Everybody.
Oh, don't start singing.
Everybody.
Oh no.
Am I original?
Oopsie.
Okay. So it's just going as the arms continue to change, like move erratically. Suddenly, they both orient upwards relative to the body, but further, fully spread out, and directing to you in different manners here. And they will, with that, there will be a burst of light that will charge out. So let's see, how does this go here? First off, can everybody still hear me? I heard a strange beeping sound.
Yep.
I'm not hearing a beeping noise.
I'm also not hearing a beeping noise.
Well, I cannot hear anybody. Stand by.
Uh-oh. Not my
It
fault.
was-
I didn't do it.
It was the Moopsie.
Oopsie.
Okay, everybody still here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know what happened. My headset arbitrarily decided to turn off right at a climactic
It
moment.
probably ran out of power or something.
Oopsie.
Who dares?
All right. So it hit. So something's about to happen to us. It's gonna target all of us. What happens?
Alright. So that is going to be a burst of multicolored, strange energy just lashes out in a cone. I'm going to say the focus of this cone was the last person to shoot at it, so Jenkins, that'll take you here. I'm going to say for every effect rolled, I will expand it out to one player as opposed to the zone necessarily. Partly because it's a cramped room, it's just a little difficult to evaluate. So we'll see how this works here. Let's see, that should be 3 with intense quality. Alright, let's see how this works. Alright, so that is... Oof.
Ow.
That is a burst of non-lethal energy for 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 points of stress. That is directly hitting Verse Jenkins, and with area, I think that is... I'm going to say that burst will catch Takara, Ikio, and Eris.
Is there any? This is probably a big ask, but is there any way that I could spend that 2 momentum to have Takara jump in front of the beam to lessen the amount of people that are getting hit?
Ooh, a brave maneuver. And if
Like
you...
a story, I guess it'd be a story. I don't know what that would actually classify as an
Advantage.
action, but
Yeah. You could create an advantage of if you wanted to, you could try to jump in front of it and basically substitute the damage there. It
Yep.
would mean Takara takes an injury in this case, but you could basically nullify the area effect on that in the process.
An injury is nothing to a Klingon. Oh wait, wrong game.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, I'll tell you
I'll
what.
take it.
I'll evaluate the effects as far as damage. So, you three are still taking a residual burst of strange energy that will deal 3 points of stress to each of you. Takara, however, with the 2 momentum spent, is going to jump in front of the full burst, and that will be enough to catch him and send him down, stumbling in the middle of the bridge.
Ah. Ah.
Yep. All right. Takara, if you have determination still, you can always spend that to ignore the injury.
Yeah, I've got. According to this, I've got 3. So yeah.
I don't remember how you got 3 points of determination.
Well, I don't. It's not marked, so.
Oh.
Well. Yeah.
In that case, I will let you pick a value and just decide what you want to tap.
Going back, you were there for my Baldur's Gate stream. I am Vulcan.
Nice. All right. God damn it. All right, so Takara heroically manages to take the blast, leaving the last person on the list able to act, being Eris Greystoke.
Yeah. So, while this is all going out, combat after combat, and this new person showing up, Eris is just calmly watching and just slowly creeping, cat-like walking over to the command chair. And I want to create advantage, GM.
What advantage do you want to create?
So with my determination, my advantage of, if at first you don't succeed, throw someone in the fire line to succeed in their place. I think I've done that pretty well.
Yep.
And I want to have a minor flashbacks of Eris while she was locked up, Eris while she's been unattended to, it very slowly reprogramming the various types of ambassador class ambassadors to basically control the ship. And she sets down her tricorder on the command seat to finalize it.
Okay, so basically,
if you can, go ahead.
I was going to say, just to make sure I understand, you've essentially set it up to where you have managed to gain control of this particular ambassador as you've been steadily enacting on all of the others.
Yep. Since it's all temporal time, temporal, spatial, whatever, this ambassador is probably all the ambassadors, and yeah, she just took her time, patiently, diligently, and now she sets it down and she says, "Computer, to beguile the time, look like the time, bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue, look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it." As she quotes Macbeth to take it over, finalize it.
Okay. I'm going to say, with the advantage that we're setting up, this will be command plus control difficulty of 2.
May I ask what your command is, Panda? What's your command stat?
Was my command staff?
Your command stat.
Oh, it's
Actually,
only 2, but I was going to switch over to engineering because I've been meticulous.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'll let you do that because that's that would apply, and I think that computers works here.
Yep. Also jury rigging and all that sort of jacks and stealth. Bold engineering. I'm going to use that right here.
I will take a point of threat.
And then here we go. This is the first character I had that didn't have veteran. It's a little weird. All right. That ain't bad. I'll take it.
All right, with 3 successes, you gain back a point of momentum. You have computer control.
Yep. And then minor action, I'm going to take cover.
All right. Yep, and with that, the turn order resets. All of you are able to act.
Happy. I'm assuming that none of
I'll
us
go.
have noticed.
I'll go real quick.
Is there any
Sorry.
obvious thing that happened after this person did all of that?
I will say there's probably the usual like computer beeping as a command has been given, but and maybe like the whatever era of Magel Barrett Roddenberry's voice saying access authorized. But yes, you were going to say something there, Eris.
Yeah. I'll say computer localize and restrain the anomalous activity within, and she kind of just leans overhead over the captain's seat and makes the coordinates set to force field level 10. Just throw in all the various signals to prevent any temporal or anomalous readings. Thank you.
Give me an engineering plus presence roll to engage engage that field, and I'm spending a point of threat to increase your complication range.
All right. Presence and engineering. Take another bolt.
Okay.
And I'll actually no, I won't take the bolt. I'll just use the momentum I gained from last turn.
Okay.
And here we go.
Okay.
Dang.
So the computer, I'm actually just going to shift that to an advantage. As you gain 5 successes on that, the field at first surrounds the figure, but then sounds of computer malfunctions begin to emerge, and the fields begin to intersect with the entity. It begins to resonate with horrid pain as the figure just twitches even more ungangly, and there is just the shrill sound of utter pain and confusion as the fields, like the force fields, spark up, and as they just burst into an unusual like trail of energy, the entity disappears. And in its place leaves an unconscious Admiral Sam.
I go restrain him.
Is it over?
What the hell just happened?
I believe we won.
We beat the canon event.
Dennis, would you like to take or anyone really scientifically proficient, would any of you like to take a scan?
Yeah, take a stand, dude.
Okay. Reason plus science, difficulty 1, please. I should say here, you guys also have 3 points of momentum to spare after all this.
Oh my god.
Mm.
Gotta end it there.
Oh no, I have a perfect thing. So, Dennis, Takara, and I will say that you can just relay this via word of mouth. The Admiral seems to have been infused with an unusual energy field. Some sort of. He is basically carrying along a space time anomaly of sorts that the force fields, before they overloaded, seem to have diffused. They appear to be dragging through space and time in such a manner as to have distorted and indeed broken down reality in a sense, to where you have created an unusual, unique bit of continuity. With the dispersal, you think that it will actually wear off in a time, but for at least a few more moments, its results, including you, that is to say your assembled crew here, and the remainder of, everything else that's happened, should be present for just a little bit longer. So as long as you survive the next few minutes, you should be golden, pretty much. Dennis, would you like me to take that complication as a narrative thing?
Oh yes, of course.
Okay. Well, while I do that, tell me, any exchange of words after seeming to win?
Eris just slowly stands up from behind the captain's seat and just creeps cat-like motions. Just sit on the captain's seat. Breathes in her success.
Is the
Mhm.
I was just gonna say, is the view screen still functioning?
It is, and as a sensor alert begins to blare out, you take a look and you realize that there are also communication channels that are opening.
Right, but what's on the view screen?
Variations panning around on a Klingon vessel decloaking, a Romulan vessel decloaking, an Excelsior class coming out of warp, which sensors show it is fully charged. Half a dozen other ship types you don't know. An Orion barge seems to be out there. All heavily armed and nobody happy. The Tholians decided to come along.
Choices, she says out loud.
Yep.
Puts her head on her fist and just kind of ponders like a king pondering what to do at the current moment.
Yep.
I sit down at the tactical station or stand. I'm not sure how it's set up here. I think one of those chairs in front of the captain's chair is the tactical station. And just start, making sure we have shields and weapons that are functional, because I don't know what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm.
She continues. I worked all my way up here. Have a little fun. Now I'm here. I don't know if it's worth it. Federation needs some fun. Just
as the communications begin to come from all of the ships, getting variations of Klingon, Romulan, the Romulan, the loud screeching of Tholians, and of course, the sort of inane shattering of the brain.
Is any of this going through the universal translator, or is that not functioning?
It goes intermittently, but the one you get from what you get scattered from the others and what you get from the Starfleet vessel is basically, Starship Ambassador, power down your weapons and shields. You have 30 seconds to explain before we start opening fire.
I turn off all the guns, but I leave the shields up.
I have only access.
What?
They'll use more advantage.
Oh,
What?
sorry.
Wait, say that again?
The
I'm
captain.
at the tactics.
I took over command. Freaking the admiral established all the up here, freaking to himself. I just basically transferred it to me. That was the whole point. So, she just ponders.
Nothing's working. What did you do?
Wanted to see if I want to play a bit of Shakespeare. But now that I'm here, kind of bored. What do you think? Convince me.
Captain,
Mhm.
please. We need to lower our guns to show that we mean no harm. We've done everything that we've needed to. We've secured the ship. Rather not see it get blown up by a bunch of people over nothing.
Oh, we won't die. These things are pretty sturdy. If anything, we'll start fighting each other. We can just send a simple spread torpedoes, and it'll be quite fun.
Okay, I have turned my chair around to glare at this person sitting in the captain's seat,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna jump her.
Okay.
Oh dear. So, Mannix, you move to close the distance. I'll have to get over.
I can go really, really fast.
All right.
Yeah.
So, are you going for like basically to pin or disarm? What do
To
you-
tear them, to knock her out of the chair. So basically, I'm doing a flying tackle with an attempt to grapple.
Okay, I guess daring plus security, and I am going to expend my remaining threat to increase your complication range, Mannix.
And of course, my melee combat kicks in with that, as well as security, I would think.
Yes.
So,
Is it a competition roll?
Yep, you do contest.
All right. The first one, focus. GM.
Yep.
and I'll give you 2 threat just to get or 3 threat to get 2 more dice.
Excellent.
Ooh.
Stop it.
All right, daring, security. Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah,
Nasty,
daring and
nasty,
security for me, for this character, is a 15.
Yeah,
Yep. So that is 4 successes
So-
for Mannix.
Can I give you threat to grease my dice?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hate this.
All right.
We're gonna get
I'll give you 3 threat to do the same. Let's go. Do. Oh, boo!
You do have bold, don't you? Or was that just for engineering?
That's just for engineering.
Okay.
Shame. Huh. Okay. Well, make the roll.
All right. Yeah. You can. Are you going for an outright, like, just a shove to push her out of her seat, or like a damage strike? So
Yeah, damage. Damage.
Unarmed strike. Okay, that's enough for an injury. You can elect to whether you want to ignore that heiress by expending. I guess in this case it'd be a threat cost of 2. But you guys do get 2 momentum back.
I'll spend that 2 momentum.
Wait a minute. Why are you getting that momentum?
I'll tell you what. I'll spend 2 of the threat that you gave me since you've become an adversary.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Okay. As this quibble continues, weapons are being locked on you by all ships present.
You know, for someone who's probably working for engineering, you're making a terrible argument of trying not to get us blown up or blowing them up.
Release the ship.
Ikkyo, I'll leave it to you. You've been nice. Should I? It is my first day as king. Isn't that right, computer?
Access granted. Recognition: Captain Eris Greystoke, Captain of the USS Ambassador, King of Scotland.
Please.
I'm just gonna punch it again.
I want to spend for my action. No. You did your turn. It's adversary time. So I use my action to just dodge. Spend time dodging,
I'll be right back.
evading.
Okay.
No, I need you.
Well, I think that as does anybody else want to do anything on the bridge
Yeah.
before, like, while you guys dodge? Because we're pretty much at hard cap in terms of time, so I will.
Oh yeah, true enough. So what do you guys want to do? Like, wait, you can convince. Come on, just try to convince her. That's not that hard. Just give her a reason. Why not blow up?
Release the ship. We do not wish to die.
I mean, others one of you have already died here and there. What's the matter for this one? Let's say we die in the first place. We're about to go home.
What are you talking about? What have you done?
I am now the King of Scotland. Got rid of good old Malcolm, gesturing to the Admiral.
What the hell does that have to do with anything?
Dennis. Actually, Takara. Convince me through your logic why war wouldn't be good for the Federation. Just for the shits and giggles. Oh, right. Right, he's down.
It's like,
No,
well,
that's my logic for you, because everybody will hurt. Everybody would hurt.
You make a good point. Computer. And play. Why not?
command protocols terminated. At which point, the audio message plays out once again. Last warning, Ambassador. We will open fire. Heave to. We await your surrender. Or surrender now, or we will open fire.
So we have access now?
Yes.
I open communications.
Ambassador, you got one hell of an explanation.
Do not fire. I repeat, do not fire. The ambassador has been apprehended.
In a moment's pause, as they eye them, all the ships begin to disappear, and in a rush of that strange burst of energy, so do all of you. And that is.
I told you.
Yep. And I'm just going to spend 2 threat to call it there. That is the cutoff point where the ship disappears, and we finish with their fatal greeting. So, for all you folks that were here, hope you enjoyed. Guests, guest that is, glad to have you along. And good stuff, everybody. We will catch you around. And that is it for us. So, have a good evening.